So with that, let's move on to the second to last step, satisfying your customers by systematically solving their problems. Remember, the purpose of a business is to solve problems. A business cannot exist without helping customers reach their goals. For you to sustain and remain a business, you need to consistently ensure you're helping your customers solve their problems. At a bare minimum, this means you need to make sure that your customers are satisfied with the products and services that you provide for them. One of the ways to make sure you have a satisfied customer is to follow up with them and also make sure they're not having a frustrating experience. So if you make it difficult, either intentionally or unintentionally, for customers to do business with you, or if customers have difficulty using your product or service to achieve the results you sold them, those are two pretty easy fixes to make sure that your customers are satisfied, and then also following up with them. But your goal shouldn't just be to satisfy your customers. You should also aim to provide value above and beyond the paid for services to nurture customer loyalty. So you'll have satisfied customers if you help them meet the goals you sold them on, but you'll have ecstatic customers if you go above and beyond the results you sold them. So for instance, you go to a restaurant for a hamburger. You're satisfied if you get good service and your burger's cooked the way you ordered, but you're ecstatic if your waiter gives you a dessert on the house. So you can add value by just going above and beyond and finding those ways of, I like to call them, delight your customers, systems of customer delight. But you can also add value by continuing to develop innovations. So the businesses that thrive are the ones that innovate. So even if you think your product is boring and ordinary, you can and should still develop ways to provide innovation. You also need to keep perfecting your products and services, even if you think you have the most innovative solution on the market. Because remember, innovation isn't always radically new. Innovation can often mean implementing a new way of doing something or adding a new service. Innovation more often looks like refinement and polishing of existing products and services than it does always creating new ones. So how do you consistently satisfy your customers? Establish a consistent fulfillment system. That means managing expectations from the beginning. It means understanding and tracking your customers' goals from the beginning. Training your customers on how to use your products and services so they can actually achieve the results you sold them. Discouraging your customers from prematurely abandoning your product and service, and regularly following up with them to check in on their progress. It also means you're establishing systems of delight, so fostering relationships, creating a community identity with your brand, providing additional value through resources, gifts, those innovations we talked about. Those are all ways to provide little bits of delight in the way that your customers are interacting with your company. And finally, you want to be actively seeking customer feedback. So this is how you'll be able to identify friction points and trends in the ways that your customers struggle to use your products, services, or systems. Customer feedback is also often the source of inspiration for new ways to innovate.